Good morning, students. This video is going to describe about the virtual memory. Let us see about the virtual memory in detail. A virtual memory is an architectural solution to increase the effective size of the memory system. An important challenge in the design of a computer system is to provide a fast memory system at an affordable cost. It lead to an architecture solution to increase the effective speed and size of the memory system. Cache memories were developed to increase the effective speed of the memory system. Such an architectural solution is a virtual memory to increase the effective size of the memory system. Virtual memories are developed in approximately 1959 to 1962 at the University of Manchester for the Atlas computer, completed in 1962. In 1961, which have been released the B5000, the first commercial computer with virtual memory. When a computer is executing a main program at the same time, virtual memory make the computer to share the memory efficiently. As well, eliminate a restriction that a computer works in the memory which is small and be limited. When many programs are running at the same time, by distributing each suitable memory area to each program, a virtual memory protects programs to interfere each other in the each memory area. The addressable memory space depends on the number of address bits in a computer. For example, if a computer issues 32-bit address, the address memory space is going to be 4 gigabytes. The physical memory is a computer the physical memory in a computer is generally not as large as the entire possible addressable space. So physical memory typically ranges from few hundred megabytes to 1 gigabyte. A large program that cannot be fit completely into the main memory have their parts stored on secondary storage device such as a magnetic disk. So a piece of program must be transferred to the main memory from secondary storage before they can be executed. What actually a virtual memory is? A virtual memory is a memory management technique that provides an idealized abstraction of the storage resource that are actually available on a given machine, which creates the illusion to the user of a very large memory as like a main memory. A virtual memory is a section of volatile memory created temporarily on the storage drive. It is created when a computer is going to be running many processors at once and RAM is running low. How it compensates the shortage? A virtual memory uses hardware and software to allow a computer to compensate for physical memory storage by temporarily transferring the data from random access memory to disk storages. In essence, virtual memory allows a computer to treat secondary memory as though it were the main memory. When virtual memory was developed, a virtual memory was developed at a time when physical memories was expansive. Computers have a finite amount of RAM, so memory can run out, especially when multiple programs run at the same time. A system using virtual memory uses a section of hard drive to emulate RAM. With virtual memory, a system can load larger programs or multiple programs running at the same time, allowing each one to operate as if as infinite memory and without having to purchase more RAM. What is the virtual memory technique? When a new piece of a program is to be transferred to the main memory and the main memory is full, then some other pieces in the main memory must be replaced. This is very similar to that of the cache memory. So an operating system automatically transfers the data between the main memory and the secondary storage. So application program need not to be considered with this transfer. Also, application program does not need to be aware of the limitations imposed by the available physical memory. Hence, the technique that automatically move program and data between the main memory and the secondary storage when they are required for the execution is going to be called as virtual memory technique. How we can define a virtual address? A programs and processors reference an instruction or a data independent of the size of the main memory. The processor issues a binary address for the instruction and data. These binary addresses are going to be called as virtual address or logical address. What actually the virtual memory? The virtual memory or virtual addresses are translated into physical addresses by combining of hardware and software subsystem. If the virtual address refers to a part of the program that is currently in the main memory, it is accessed immediately. If the address refers to a part of the program that is not currently in the main memory, then it first transferred into the main memory before it can be get used. If you're going to see about the difference between the virtual memory and the physical memory, when talking about the difference, the virtual memory and the main memory, the biggest distinction is normally seen to be in speed. RAM is considerably faster than the virtual memory. RAM, however, tends to be more expensive than the virtual memory. When a computer requires a storage, RAM is the first used. Virtual memory is going to be used when the RAM is filled because it's slower. Users can actively add RAM to a computer by buying and installing more RAM chips if they are experiencing slowdown due to memory swap happening too often. The amount of RAM depends on what installed on a computer. A virtual memory, on the other hand, is limited by the size of the computer hardware, as well as the virtual memory setting can often be controlled through the operating system. So usually if you're going to see that the virtual addresses are going to be the virtual memory settings are going to be controlled through this operating system. How the virtual memory works? Virtual memory uses both computer hardware and software to work. So when an application is in use, data from the program is going to be stored in a physical address using a RAM. More significantly or specifically, virtual memory will map the address to RAM using a memory management unit. So the memory management unit acts as an address translation hardware, will automatically translate the address. The computer memory manager is in the charge of keep tracking of the shift between the physical and the virtual memory. If the data is going to be needed again, a context switch can be used to resume the execution again. So this diagram shows how the virtual address and the physical address and the virtual memories are going to be get placed. A computer which is going to be from the computer, the address is going to be translated into virtual memory, virtual address to the physical address, and a cache which is going to be holding the virtual memory and which is going to be get transferring the data towards the main memory or the secondary memory. So if you're going to see that the diagram shows how the memory organization is going to be present over here. So here, while copying a virtual memory data into a physical memory, the operating system divides main memory into page files or swap files with a fixed number of addresses. Each page is stored on a disk, and when the page is going to be needed, the operating system copies it from the disk to the main memory and translates the virtual address into the real address. However, the process of swapping virtual memory to physical is rather slow. Because of swapping, computer will more RAM will are seen in the better performance. So to facilitate the copying virtual memory into the real memory, the operating system divides virtual memory into pages. And it is stored on the disk until it is going to be get needed. When the page is needed, the operating system copies it from the disk to the main memory and translating the virtual address into the real address. Such a way it's going to do its memory organization.